It's a great honor for me as Minister of Education in my dream job, as I mentioned earlier, to open this highly topical event. Education and training in emergencies has gained improved attention internationally, and for a good reason. In many ways, we are living in unprecedented times. Globally, more people are forcibly displaced than ever since the Second World War. Last year alone, 25 people per minute were forced to flee their homes. That is more than 13 million newly displaced people in 1 year. This staggering data is revealed by the global trends of the UNHCR. More than half of refugees are children and youth under the age of 18. The vast majority of them reside in low and middle income countries, in the poorest areas, with far less opportunities to education and training compared to their peers in less vulnerable countries. Globally, more than 90% of children have access to primary education. The case of refugee children is sadly enough around 60. To continue, only less than 25% have access to secondary education, while the global average is above 80%. At the same time, the power of education and training is broadly recognized globally as a provider of stability, routine, joy, the joy of learning, and hope for a better future. Your home can be destroyed, but no disaster on earth can take away the individual's knowledge, skills and competencies for life and for livelihood once they are gained through education and through learning. Dear colleagues, unprecedented times require innovative approaches for urgent solutions. Challenging environments required flexible and adjustable responses, and also an understanding that one size and one solution does not fit for all. That's why I'm happy that you have had the opportunity to learn about the Finnish TVET system, which we call the hybrid model. I believe our experience might provide some elements for further consideration in efforts to respond to the global learning and the global skills crisis. In Finland, we have just recently updated our entire TVET through a massive reform, both of the laws and of the financing system. Our educational ecosystem is flexible. It means that no learning pathway in Finland leads to a dead end. So no student, no young person can make a wrong choice while educating him or herself. There is always an opportunity to continue on with your studies at the upper level. Within our TVET, we have stepped up this flexibility and learner-centered approach to a higher level. In Finland, it is now possible to start studying all year round. Our classes are a mixture of young and adult students. Some of the students are upskilling, some of them are reskilling. The system suits for those with an academic background just as well as for those who have recently completed lower secondary education. Our TVET is a dynamic part of continuous learning. We have also strengthened the recognition of prior learning. Combined with a modular-based TVET, this can be seen as a fast track to qualification. Studies are often shortened through focusing on the missing skills, especially in the case of adult students who already have a lot of experiences from working life and already might have an educational background to stand on. Since learning needs to be understood as a lifelong and life-wide process, which doesn't stop when stepping outside the classroom, it's also important to take the non-formal and informal learning settings into account. Studying is tailored to suit individual learning. A personal competence development plan with the necessary supportive measures is drawn up for every student who is studying within the vocational educational system. Studying can take place flexibly in a classroom, in a workplace, or through digital learning, digital learning environment. In Finland, we have also emphasized broad-based competencies, and while doing so, we reduced the number of qualifications by half. Since we do not know the jobs of tomorrow, we do not know the specific vocational requirements at the working places in the future, it is becoming ever more important for all students to gain strong basic skills and key competences while educating, so that you are able to learn more whenever it is needed, and also to participate in continuous learning throughout your life and throughout your career. Dear friends, one of the most important tasks of the TVET is, of course, that it also leads to employment. Gaining skills for the continuous learning, job creation and grassroots innovation needs to be core elements of the educational system. In order to maintain relevance, it is vital to keep the world of work firmly engaged in the development and provision of TVET. Not all regions in the world, and certainly not the most rural or the poorest ones, have big industries to provide opportunities for apprenticeships. That's why it's so important to combine the grassroots empowerment and bottom-up approach with top-down measures. We have also further increased the quality and relevance of TVET by strengthening the work-based learning, which is based on a three-party agreement between the student, the education provider and the employer. We think that when creating these kinds of win-win-win situations, everyone also remains committed to the continuous development of our educational training and vocational training system. Highly valued, skilled and respected teachers also improve the quality of any educational system. Here, the vocational teachers are highly educated, they have relevant work experience in their own field, and additionally, teachers are required to have pedagogical training. To conclude, I wish to underline the sense of urgency. This was the spirit of heads of states who adopted a political declaration 1 month ago at the UN SDG summit in New York. We need to accelerate action towards 2030. There's no room for public government or for policymakers to work in silos, for competing of resources, for competing of mandates, but all actors and all policy sectors are needed now to collaborate for a rapid transformation, both at the global and at the national level. Investing in education and training, in knowledge, in skills and in competences must rely at the heart of these efforts. It's not only the best employment policy, but also a powerful tool to improve equality in society and a powerful tool for changing the world. It's also the solid pathway to innovations, which are badly needed for creating a sustainable way of life and for combating existential problems such as the global climate crisis facing us all. In all these efforts, girls and women, as well as groups in vulnerable position, must remain at the forefront of the policy making. Dear friends, it's also worth underlining that the generation of young people today is larger than ever in human history, while also their risk of unemployment is many times higher than that of adults. This is a dangerous and also sad combination, and it's the reason why solutions for improved TVET are urgently needed. The enrollment rate in TVET is globally disturbingly low, roughly 20%. Here in Finland, the TVET is an attractive first choice already for more than half of the young generation. So more than half of the youth who have completed lower secondary education continue on to the vocational education and training path. Attractiveness comes with quality and relevance, but also something that young students, for example, here in Finland, usually present as their wish for the Minister of Education, is also that we focus on the status of TVET and of our vocational education and training, so that we also, on a societal level, stress and emphasize the importance and the quality of our vocational education and training. Globally, more youth and more adults should choose the TVET programs, and those programs should, of course, lead to employment and also to opportunities for lifelong learning. With these words, I wish to assure you that Finland is fully committed to collaborate for tackling the global learning and the global skills crisis through policy and through practice. And I wish you all the best in your highly important mission and your highly important work. Thank you very much.